Hi everyone, I'm Ivan Bayuki and welcome back to Wall Street Silver. Joining us back on the channel is our good friend Bix Weir from the massive YouTube channel To Roota. Great to see you again, Bix.
It's great to be here with you guys. I'm a big fan. I follow you on Twitter even. I even follow you on Twitter.
So it's a huge pleasure having you back. And Silver Eagles now, the prices are going absolutely crazy and you've been covering this for a while. Can you walk our audience why silver premiums are going through the roof?
It's a conspiracy. And I don't say that lightly because I've unraveled what's going on. They are purposefully holding back Silver Eagle production. They're the only mint doing it. Perth Mint's fine. I think they're up 13% this year, although the last couple of months it's dropped like 33%. So that might change, but for the entire year, the rest of the world was doing fine, creating the sovereign coins. Everybody except the U.S. Mint, which is at 25% of their potential capacity from 2015. And the insanity of what's going on at the Mint, given that we're the only country with a legal written obligation for the U.S. Mint to create Silver Eagles in quantity to meet demand. We have $12.15 to $15 premiums on Silver Eagle while the price is below $20, meaning you're going to have to pay a serious 60, 65, 70% premium. This is completely illegal, but they're doing it on purpose. And we'll get into it in a second, but I right now I'm blaming the head of Mint, which is a person named Ventris Gibson. There she is, Ventris Gibson, got put as the head of the Mint when David Ryder left last year, right after they made the changeover to the new, the notched coins, and then they changed the back of the Silver Eagle. Ventris Gibson has 0% experience in minting. She's an HR professional. Her entire life has been in human resources, very established human resources person within the government, but zero experience with coins, with minting, with precious metals. So why would they make the director of the Mint at such an important time in American history, if you ask me? I mean, we've never seen premiums like this on Silver Eagles.
Right.
Why would they put the head of HR she wasn't even the head of HR for the Mint. She was working for the DC government, the city.
Her background is assistant secretary of human resources for the Department of Health and Human Services. I mean, what is this woman? I mean, I guess, experience is not really the reason why you get jobs in government, right? I mean, that should be well known.
Unless you're doing something else, unless you're put there to wind down the U.S. Mint and have them make no coins and deal with laying people off. They haven't been laying people off. As a matter of fact, I got a letter in the mail right here, and you could put it up on the screen. I got it being a customer of the U.S. Mint. I've bought coins there before. She sent everybody a letter, and in this letter, praising how great the Mint is. Listen to this one line. This year, and I underline it, this year we significantly increased production quantities of our most popular coins. The American Eagle 1 ounce silver dollar, which will lead to broader availability to our customers. Now let's pull up the 2022 production for Silver Eagles, and let's just see how much she increased production. This is the month-by-month accounting of it's over there on the far right, the silver totals. Those are the Silver Eagles. We are currently in the month of September, and they've only made 12,831 Silver Eagles. And as you can tell from what they're doing, they're capping them at 850,000 every month. And we know that premiums are through the roof.
Yeah.
And if she's saying this is increased production, let's pull up 2015. What the U.S. Mint did, the same machines are there, unless they, for some reason, got rid of everything. In 2015, they made 47 million coins. In 1 month alone, in July, they made 5.5 million Silver Eagles. That's their maximum capacity. That's the most.
Now they're only making 850,000.
And now they're making 850 each month. They have capped it illegally, completely illegally. There is a law, and the law was written for a reason for Silver Eagles and for Gold Eagles. It was so that the people would be guaranteed to get that Silver Eagle.
Okay, so we showed the 2015 number showing that they can produce over 5 million per month, and the most they ever produced in 1 year, but I'm going to go back to 2015, the most they ever produced in 1 year was 47 million coins for 2015. I guess you went back, and was 2015 the peak, and that's why you sent me this one?
I went through every year since 1987 when it started.
Okay, so they can max out at 47 million. Year to date, here we are halfway through September. They've only done 12 million. So yeah, that's a pretty good
Yeah,
estimate.
that's crazy.
Well, I
And
mean,
the
if you
premiums.
take that, they're on pace for somewhere around 15 or 16 million for the year, which is probably around 1/3 of what, over the course of a full year, what they've done in the past, right? At their maximum.
I did that number too. They take December off, by the way.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
why. They take a whole month off to change out the dies to add the new date, but every December they take off. And they're on track, if they keep doing what they're doing, 850,000 a month to 14,956,000 coins, one of the lowest ever.
Yeah, so
Wow.
some around 30% or 25% of their what they usually are doing. And you would think with the premiums what they are, I think they mark them up to their approved dealers. They only
don't.
mark them up like $2 or $3 above.
They're legally required to sell it to the dealer at cost.
No, the dealers told me they buy them from the mint with like a $2 or $3 markup.
Mhm.
Right. That's markup from the price of the coin. That's how they cover their costs.
Yeah.
Legally, they have to sell them at cost.
Okay. So they really have no incentive to produce though in that case though.
They do. They're legally required to produce quantities to meet demand. That's the law, and that's what they're.
And she came out and said that they're increasing capacity.
Yeah.
That lady.
Of the most, she said. I mean, you read this.
The machines obviously are not at capacity. If there's any problem, it's just getting the silver blanks, which is what they've said is the problem.
Although that's
earlier this year.
That's not true either, because the way the U.S. Mint does this, and they have a video showing it, they actually go in and buy the 1,000-ounce bars from the comics. That's how they buy at spot. They bring those bars over to the Sunshine Mint or the Perth Mint, who makes the blanks.
Gotcha.
Now, you could say, well, remember, they're still obligated to meet customer demand. They should be paying more than anybody else to have front row in line to get these coins made. Perth Mint is still making them, they're sovereign coins. Right. Everybody's buying the Queen's, the Queen is on the back of them, so everybody's buying those. It's the U.S. Mint is purposefully hindering the ability for U.S. citizens to buy silver eagles.
So the mints have to go, as you've described the process, they go out to the COMEX or LBMA or whoever has the 1,000-ounce bars, they secure them, and then they send them, or directly from the bullion dealers. I guess they can get them from anywhere, and they secure the bars, and then they own them, and they're sent to like a Sunshine Mint, and Sunshine Mint creates the blanks that are then sent to the mint to actually stamp them into American Silver Eagles. That's the process as we understand it. So, if you look at, this is Michael's account on Twitter. He puts up these graphs every day almost. He puts this data up here. And one of the ones he's tracking, this is from, I don't know, this is about 2 weeks old, but it's valid for data through, I think, August or September, August. But this is a combined total of the monthly changes for LBMA silver plus COMEX silver, registered, eligible, just everything. And here's where the Silversqueeze began back in early 2021. And you can just see the inventory levels just draining dramatically since 2021. As I can only assume, it's part of this has to do with, retail, just numbers in India and the United States and Europe are just off the charts high for what everyone's buying. I don't know. Is it difficult to acquire 1,000-ounce bars these days? Or are they still available?
Well, they're still available supposedly, but we also have a huge drawdown in SLV inventory. They went from 720 million ounces since the squeeze, and they're down to 500 million now.
Wow.
So yeah, 220 have come out of, everywhere. Physical silver is leaving these criminal exchanges is what's happening.
Yeah, in the past, we've seen, LBMA would drop, but COMEX would rise, or the reverse, some sort of arbitrage where they're just being shipped back and forth between different exchanges. And it makes you wonder when LBMA is declining and COMEX is declining and the ETFs are in decline. And the only ETF that's not in decline is PSLV because they don't have a process. They don't actually sell, they just acquire and it goes away forever unless someone actually takes physical delivery, and almost no one bothers to do that with PSLV. It's the only one that will probably not decline, and I guess until Justin Trudeau seizes it. Just kidding. I love PSLV. But it makes you wonder, it's not shifting through arbitrage between exchanges, so it is literally being consumed either by our community, investors like us who want silver rounds or sovereign mint coins or 10-ounce or 100-ounce bars, or some wealthy people like Ivan buy 1,000-ounce bars. But it's going somewhere, right? Is industry consuming it all, or what's going on?
Well, everything from here on out is just a theory, not financial advice. But yeah, I think Buffett's involved with it. The Bank of America derivative book in silver exploded to over 1 billion ounces worth of silver on their derivative side. And these were all, as of last year, these were 1-year contracts. So I think they're all being delivered by Bank of America, and I think that it's going to Buffett. Now, what happens after Buffett? I think he's given them back to the U.S. Mint, and the U.S. Mint I do think they expanded capacity. I think they're making massive amounts of gold and silver eagles for this new system that we got coming up when the old system crashes and burns. And as we can see, everything's falling apart right now.
The other thing we've noticed, and here I'll share this on the Shanghai exchange. And this is more for gold, but I think it's also true for silver.
I think silver's separate on Shanghai. There's not a delivery component there. It's just silver derivative.
At least for
gold, you can.
The Asian exchanges, the physical price for delivery in Asia in the past couple of weeks has been significantly higher than COMEX or LBMA. And that a lot of people have speculated that's leading to an arbitrage where there's an incentive to take it out of the United States and London and for it to shift east to Asia. I don't know who can track that as to whether that's actually occurring in any data, but if you're arbitrage is there for a reason, to take advantage of these inefficiencies in price in different markets if it gets big enough where it's bigger than the transportation cost, right?
Well, see, that's the other thing. You look at the data coming out of India, massive amounts of silver is going into India. They basically shifted from gold as a dowry to silver. And you look at those charts, it's like crazy amounts. I think I don't remember the number. It was close to a full year's production is going into India.
I saw something like 20-25% of globally mined silver is on pace to go to India for whatever it is they use it for.
And they use it for, as money. If there's any country on the planet that uses gold and silver as money, it is India with their dowries and all that. So yeah, they've always used it.
Yeah, it's cultural though. China has a real cultural affinity for gold, and India has a real cultural affinity for silver. Would that be an accurate statement?
No, I think they were gold too, but they are also thrifty shoppers, and they see this gold silver ratio going through the roof, and they're like, hell, I know everything about gold and silver. I'm going to buy a hell of a lot more silver than I am gold right now. If I love gold, I'd buy a hell of a lot of silver now, wait for the ratio to go to something normal, and then sell it for the gold, and you'd end up with 3, 4, 5 times as much gold.
Yeah. So what's the what do you think? Okay, so I got to ask you, what do you think? How do you think this plays out the rest of the year with silver? We're down here below, what's it even at right now here? We're at 19 and change, 1945 as I'm looking at it right now at this minute. I know you're a permabull like us, or are we gonna hit 1,000 this year, or is that too? No.
It won't happen on the COMEX. That's the thing. The COMEX is so rigged, so massively under the control of those who click the mouse. We're not going to see it on the COMEX. The COMEX is going to shut down most likely through other problems. They got all kinds of derivatives coming due in corn, in wheat, and people are talking about taking delivery of that stuff because there's such a low crop this year. And that's force
Wow.
majeure time for the comics.
We've been tracking this for a long time. The decline in the registered category for silver at COMEX, and it's down to 44 million as of the 16th, the last time Michael updated this. I'll probably get up, probably. But when we started the Silversqueeze back in January of last year, the registered category was at 150 million, or I think 149 million and change, and it's down to 44, and it's dropped dramatically, and as a result, the leverage, the number of open contracts relative to the size of the number of ounces registered for delivery has just exploded to some insane numbers. At some point, and I actually interviewed, what's his name? Who's the guy, CPM Group? Jeffrey Christian. I never ran the interview, but I did interview him once. He was just so rude during the interview, I never put it on YouTube. I'm like, why give the guy an audience if he's going to be rude to us? Actually, maybe I should run that just for it probably would have been a huge video. But he told me at the time, it was like, I don't know, back in April or May of this year. And I think the registered was like at 70 or 80 million at the time. And I asked him, where would there be a problem for registered silver where it's too low, where the leverage just gets too high? He said, oh, probably 40 million or so. That's he was just speculating. And here we are in September, and we're nearing those numbers in terms of registered silver levels. And I don't know when it blows up. I don't know if it can get down to 20 million, where it's just
there's a lot has changed on the COMEX as far as delivery. It's no longer the place where the banks take delivery. It all goes to the exchange for physical stuff over into London. So they'll close out their contracts. They don't have to deliver.
Yeah, but it is, the total numbers are declining.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it is
in
going somewhere. It is coming out of the vaults. It is going somewhere. Or what's happening is some people are shifting their silver from registered into eligible, just so it's that essentially takes it off the table, and it's just sitting there in storage in a vault. Because people might decide, I don't want it being called away from me as available as registered for delivery, while it's down here below 20. Maybe at if silver got up to 25 or 30, then a lot of those ounces that are in the eligible category might shift over into registered, because people are willing to then let it go at a higher price. But right now, I could see, if they're going to keep manipulating it down below 20, there's just more and more incentive for ounces just to disappear out of the registered category.
I agree, although I'm not sure that I agree with the numbers. I think they lie about the numbers. I think there's a lot of double counting that goes on, especially by JP Morgan with their silver in London and their silver over in America, and what they have in the ETF, I think is all mixed together and mingled. I don't think anybody knows how much silver is left in this game, but I do believe, yes, it is definitely leaving all the warehouses and going somewhere. And with the Road to Roota stuff that I've done for years, I remember back in 2007 when I found those Road to Roota documents at the Fed Boston, and there was two pamphlets. There was the Wishes and Rainbows comic book, the teacher's guide called The Road to Roota, and then there was a third called Banking Basics. And in that book, they talked about why banks fail, and then they showed a picture of a girl. I think I sent it to you. A girl going to a bank with 19 gold coins and swapping it out for dollar bills. I think that's what's happening. I think they're preparing for that kind of world.
This
it's right there.
Yeah.
Page 17 on that book. And it was on the same website that they had big red exclamation points around the Road to Roota stuff. This is the Fed Boston.
Yeah. The other thing that's really, jumped out in the past week that I wanted to get your take on, the lease rates for silver. These are, people who loan out silver for lease rates. In order to borrow silver, if you want to pretend you own it,
that concept just cracks me up every time I hear it.
Yeah, if you want to pretend you own it for whatever scam is going on at JP Morgan or whoever, wherever, lease rates for silver went up by like 15% in one day, back on like the
Wow.
15th or the 16th of September last week. And a lot of people were talking about this last week on Twitter and Reddit. And historically, the lease rates are historically very low or even negative, and now they're popping up to 1.5 or 2%. In order, the rate you have to pay to borrow this stuff.
Well,
And
all you got to do is go back a year. What happened one year ago, end of the third quarter? That's when the OCC data showed that Bank of America leased, I think it was 350 million ounces of silver in a single quarter. So
Yeah,
I think
wow.
it's delivery. These are all sub 1 year leases, and it's delivery time, and they're trying to, they'll grab any silver they can because they got to meet deliveries.
it makes you wonder what, something feels like a Lehman Brothers moment is due to happen. Some hedge funds are on the wrong side of either debt or energy, some trades somewhere. It feels like someone's just not going to be able to deliver. And that was 2008 counterparty risk. Some major counterparty on the wrong side of a trade just implodes. And it's like we get the feeling that's just about to happen somewhere to someone. And that's when the fear happens. And that's when the Fed can no longer keep raising rates, right? At that point, the Fed's done raising rates.
Yeah.
And they have to go back to easy money to save the whole system.
I don't think it would. I think the derivative bubble, $2 quadrillion, is way too big to control this time. They controlled it in 2008, with all the shit they did behind the scenes. But this time it's even bigger. JP Morgan added in the second quarter or first quarter, added 10 trillion to their derivative book. Everyone's like, what? Is that even legal? How are these guys able to play?
Oh, they're fully FDIC. Hey, if they win, they keep the profits. If they lose, they socialize the losses, right? That's what FDIC insurance is for. So your deposits are safe, right?
Absolutely. So I'm 100% in agreement. I think, and I think we're talking weeks, 3-4 weeks. The world's going to be completely different, not years.
Well,
maybe a couple of months.
We're coming up on October, and historically, that is the most fun month for crashes historically in the market.
But there's also the end of the fiscal year of the United States is the end of next Friday.
Yeah.
The end of September
30th.
The Jewish Shemitah is on the 26th or 7th, which is like the Jubilee Day. There's all kinds of reasons to say this shit ain't gonna last much longer.
Well, Bix, you are always one of the most entertaining guests we have, and the audience loves you. We're gonna put for people who don't know Bix, he has the Road to Roota YouTube channel. We're gonna put that on the screen, and the link will be in the description. And check it out. Give him a subscribe. And he's always entertaining and always has great information because, and he sings also. He sings a lot.
Oh yeah, you have a guitar.
Right?
Oh yeah, there's the music. I have a music website, bixweir.com.
Yeah.
I travel around, sing about the Fed. The Fed actually put me in one of their comic books. They call me Glix instead of Bix.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, till next time, Bix, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate the data you bring.
Thank you, Bix.
Thank you, you guys.